Yo, what's good everyone? Update 19.5 of Anime Adventures just dropped, and it's a super difficult update. So in today's video, I'll be giving you guys a beginner's guide on how to actually beat the update and get all that you can get out of it. Anyways, before we get into the video, make sure to like and subscribe as we're so close to 5K. Let's get right into the video. Alright guys, so the main part of this update is the contracts feature. As you guys can see here, there's about 6 different contracts you can take at any given time, each of them being at an increasing tier. And basically how these contracts work is that each level you go up, it'll take more time for them to cycle, but they'll also give you more rewards, and they'll have a higher chance for this dice thing. But yeah, anyways, as you guys can see, this one will give you 6 tokens and 0% of the dice, whereas this one will give you like 297 tokens and 27% chance at a dice. And basically what this means for you guys is that you want to be doing as high level contracts as possible. Now I'll explain how to do the higher level contracts later in this video, and just know that you can actually use these tokens over here at the limited time event. For example, if I wanted to, I can go ahead, open this star, and as you guys can see, I got a Luffy from it. So not very worthwhile, but you need 200 for a mythic unit. And there's 3 new mythic units. So that means you're going to be doing at least 2,000 tokens worth of events to actually get it done. Keep in mind, it's always worth doing the tier 14 ones. They'll give you like 300 roughly. And they cycle through, I think, every 8 hours or so, but I'm not sure. Anyways, as you guys can see, each of these different things will actually have a different kind of damage buff that it'll give out. This one will give you 570 magic and 127 burn damage. So for example, I'd want to take Sasuke into this event. So what I can do, matchmaking here, we'll go into the event and I'll explain the rest of how to actually beat the update as we're in the event. Alright, so as you guys can see, this is the new event area, and we're going to go into units. It's usually good to bring a slow unit, so we're going to replace Dreamer with, I believe we have a slow guy, like the Jiraiya guy. I'm not sure where he is, though. Yeah, right here. Toad Mage, okay, or Toad Sage, whatever his name is. I don't really care. But yeah, basically, the guide for actually how to build your teams, bring a main DPS, preferably a unique. You'll see why in a second. If you have a unique, that makes this event a lot easier. Like, honestly, a team with 2 or 3 uniques can easily solo the last, like, contract, even if they're not the best team overall. But yeah, definitely make sure you have your main DPS. Always bring a slow. In my opinion, bring Idol too as well. I'll show the screenshot on screen if I can find it. But Idol did get a massive buff this update, making her basically negate a high cost, like, difficulty scaling. So basically, if you're in a high cost stage, it'll have no effect on you because Idol will just completely negate that effect. And honestly, this is insane for Idol because she was already a good unit before, but having this like extra kind of shadow effect is really cool. So what you want to do early on, focus your farms. Keep in mind you're going to be getting 15 waves to do everything, so you're only going to be getting 15 waves you're actually paid for. Now, next thing I'm going to be explaining is what this giant bar across the top is with the guy like with the swords. What does that actually do, and what do you need to do with that? So basically, this bar with this little like cloak guy with the swords is going to slowly move across the right side of your screen. Basically, once it reaches about here, like probably like 90 to 95% done, the boss is gonna keep circling around this part of the map, this central like brick red part, until this last like 5%, which he's gonna exit through. I believe it is this path. Now, since that's the case, you're gonna want to like buff up your DPS area a lot. In my opinion, focus on putting slows in roughly like the middle and not on the outer corners. And why I say this is if you slow the boss while he's out here, you're going to be taking more time that he's just going to be going across the like tread, and you're not going to be damaging him for that time. So make sure you only have slows in the very center. Make sure to tell your teammates this, as I know a lot of people just spam down slows not really knowing what they do. So yeah. Alright, on top of this, like I said, bring units that deal like the current kind of damage buff that you need, because look at this, guys. There is a 570% magic damage buff in this stage. Our magic units should not be doing this much, but yet they are. That's how good these magic buffs are, bro. Like, genuinely, once this boss guy, as you guys can see, he'll go over here, and then he'll turn around and circle back. Now, this isn't ideal as she circled back this way, and we want the boss to circle around back to our DPS, but that's why you put the slows at the DPS area and not away from them. If you put the slows away from them, you'll maximize the time that you're not damaging them, and that's obviously not what you want. Now, second thing, keep the units that you need for like the certain kind of stages that you're doing. For example, here we have shield units, so bring a lot of multi-hits. As I said, for high cost, bring Oshi. She literally makes high cost, you don't have to do anything extra. So keep that in mind. Bring for like tank enemies, bring very high DPS, and yeah, overall you should have an easy time if you bring the units that are intended for what you're doing. As well, there is an elemental thing, so try to match up the elemental stuff, but that doesn't really matter too much. Now guys, for us, we actually had such a good team comp that we ended up actually beating the boss before the stage even ended. If this happens for you guys, you will have to play up to wave 15, so keep that in mind. As you guys can see, the enemies keep coming out of here. Even though the boss has already died, I believe at least you'll have to play up to wave 15. But we'll see about that in a second once we actually clear all these enemies out. Also guys, keep in mind that while a lot of your teammates are actually going to be taking care of air units, this leaves you guys with space to actually go for non-air units. This guy brought an Aizen. In my opinion, Aizen's still a good unit, but he's one of the worst for this stage particularly, as he just costs so much to upgrade and you really don't have a lot of money in these stages, so don't bring Aizen, guys. It's just a random one-off tangent. But what I was saying earlier is that you can bring a lot of units like this Dark Mage, because Dark Mage in this, or not, sorry, Dark Mage, what's this guy's name? Shinobi Eternal. You guys can bring Shinobi Eternal, as most of your teammates are already going to be doing air units, so you guys can have the like chance to actually use non-air units pretty effectively. As you guys can see, this guy's dealing 200k. Add in this 500% modifier, that's roughly like 1.2-ish mil. And then on top of that, there's another 100% burn damage. He's going to be dealing close to like 3 mil per hit. Literally, I've tracked this guy's damage on this stage. He's been dealing about 3 mil per burn tick, and he's doing 20 burn ticks. That's 60 mil per hit, bro. Like, literally, Dark Mage is absolutely insane for killing bosses on these. Alright, as you guys can see, there we go. We're going to get rewarded for this stage. And yeah, assassin tokens, and that's it. Anyways, you guys from here can pick a new contract with your current team if you do like them, or you guys can actually go ahead and go back to the lobby, which is what I'll be doing so I can explain the rest of this update. Alright guys, so now that we're back in lobby, I'm going to be explaining the other parts of this update. Do note that there is a drop rate buff inside if you guys bring the units related to that update. So yeah, if you guys do manage to get those units, definitely bring them. There is also a new relic, which I believe buffs bleed units. However, I'm not sure. It looks like it does. Endless blades. I feel like that would buff bleed. But you need 10 relic shards to craft it and 10,000 coins. Honestly, not a large requirement for what it is, in my opinion. However, there's one last part of the update that I've actually neglected to talk about so far, and that is the new raid. So if you guys go into here, you guys can see there's a new Ant Kingdom Midnight raid, which is going to give you, I believe, the Spider. He's a 1% drop rate, and if you do 15 raids, you'll get him guaranteed. Honestly, that's not bad at all. I have not seen so far like how hard the raid is. I assume since it's one of those guaranteed unit raids, it's going to be pretty hard. But yeah, overall, it's a pretty stacked update. I hope you guys enjoyed this like somewhat of a guide, somewhat of an update review video. I'll be dropping a lot more like unit specific videos here soon once I can actually manage to get them. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. It's me, Mr. Mugma, signing off. Goodbye.